Dave said something last night about someplace on our website is a list of club members.
Yes.
I never found that. And who should I talk to? I'm having trouble signing in to be recognized as a member. I tried to sign in at one point to do something or other, and it kept telling me I had the wrong, password or username or whatever.
I think we might have to reset that. There's a lot of people having that trouble.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know.
It's not me then,
because it seems like the whole membership part of it is just sort of a pain in the neck. But I can go in there and do some resets. Tim does most of the resets.
Well, I could talk to Tim. Let me ask you a question. When I'm leaving for North Las Vegas probably on the 15th or 16th. Do you think we'll have anything set up by then? Who knows, because of the way it is, right? Okay.
Yeah, whenever we can get up there. I mean,
Right, that's true. I didn't even think of that before I asked. Yeah, I was hoping.
Kathy will send out an email to see if some people want to do a work party up there.
Okay.
Which is going to be not easy.
Nope. Well, my sister-in-law is having foot surgery, so we're going to have to go there for about a week, probably, until she...
Because I'd like to get this one back on the air so you'd have the Echolink back.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's just, we're working on a, different system for the Echolink, but the repeater's still got to be operational to make it work.
Right.
But we're working on an Echolink, call it a conference server.
Okay.
So we can set it up for as many people as we want, but we'll probably start out with 5 or 10. So you can have 5 or 10 people hooked to the Echolink. You can actually conference with the people just on Echolink, but we can leave it open to leave the repeater linked to it permanently.
So we can use so people on Echolink can hear the net and participate in the net too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's why I was kind of asking. I don't want to take the one Echolink connection and and we can't even get to it from N6 USL, can we? Well, Tim does.
He doesn't. No, Tim does. He's got an IRLP node, and that's a $500 node.
Yeah, not me. I'm sorry. But I'm happy with my new microphone and foot pedal.
Oh, that's right.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did.
Yep, Dave put the foot pedal together for me, and then I ordered the other parts and the Y cable, and so I now have a hi-o mic and a hi-o mic stand, and hooked up to a Y cable, so that I can use either the push buttons on the stand or the foot pedal, and I don't have to try and squeeze mic.
So now you can actually type it in.
Yeah.
And Tim's got it worked out pretty well, where you only got to get a couple of the numbers in there, a couple of letters, and
pops up right.
Yeah, it self-fills.
I had trouble the first time. A couple times I did it because I was still using an HT. I had trouble going from.
It's difficult with an HT, and then Dave set up an HT with with a switch or foot pedal for
Grace.
It was for Merida.
Oh, Merida, okay.
And he said, Yaesu's, the Yaesu handy talkies, most of the Yaesu radios, they're not designed to do that. The ICOMs make it real simple. ICOMs and Kenwoods make it real simple because they've got a separate push-to-talk switch and all that stuff. Well, so does the 991A, but that's not a common thing on the Yaesu. Just on the base stations it is.
Well, all I got to do is plug the mic cable in, and there's a feed off of it that I can plug the Y cable into, and then I feed the cable from the mic stand and from my foot pedal into that, and I'm all set to go. And it's a dual element microphone, so once I get on sideband, if I get an HF and stuff, it's got that wide and narrow thing, it'll punch through. At least that's the way I've understood people explaining it to me so far. So 95% of the time you want to leave it on wide.
Yes. Oh, on FM it's really harsh and annoying. Okay. On HF, it's much better to narrow it. But I still got my fingers in this pie over on this other repeater.
Okay. Is this the one you were saying that had a lot shorter road off the Glendora Mt road to get to?
It's much lower. It's 30. I think it's about 3,100 feet. This one's. We're on one of the lowest sections up there on Sunset. So we're lower, but Sunset ranges from about 51 to 5,800 feet, depending on which site you're on.
Okay.
And I think we're about 5180. On average, you're at 53, 5,400 feet.
Right.
And the highest one is just under, or it's right at 50, 58. It's pretty high.
So do we lose anything coverage-wise if we go to the lower repeater?
Yes.
We do, okay.
Yeah, I can't talk to LAX.
Oh. How often do you want to talk to LAX?
Well, I mean, that's one we were on, WA6FZH, right?
Oh, that's in LAX?
No, that's here.
Oh, that's this one.
That covers, so it covers Diamond Bar and that area really well. If you get to the shaded side of Diamond Bar, it has a little bit of an issue. Well,
Right.
I could always put, you could put a voting receiver on the far side and link it,
Right.
and you'd be fine. I mean, you could find someone that's down there in the Brea area that you could use their QTH,
Right.
put a voting receiver hooked to the internet, and you'd cover that gray area on the north end of Orange County.
Right.
And that's the only part. When you get down to Fullerton, you've gained it again.
Right.
WA6FZH, you can hear it to Seal Beach.
Oh.
So, we've had people check in from Yucaipa. I don't know how,
Right.
but we have. I mean, this one's way better coverage because it's way up higher and it's sitting
Right.
out a little bit farther. So, I mean, I'll show you when we're coming along here. I can show you where the access road. There's two access roads to Johnstone. But there's
Okay.
an Upper Johnstone, Lower Johnstone. There's one at 3,800 feet, and there's one, or 3,400, 3,800, and there's another one down at 3,000. And WA6FZH is down lower at 3,000.
Right.
But there's a gate up here, an access to the experimental forest. And I don't remember if it's this one or the next one. On the other side of this hill, but there's actually a gate that goes out. Yeah, they've been moving quite a bit of dirt off this road.
Yeah. And it seemed like there used to be an entrance there to one of the fire roads.
There's one. We get around this hill. I think it's over on the other side of this hill. It's there. Big gate, nice road. It says something about the dam access, but it also says experimental forest, and that actually is how you can get to either repeater site from there.
Okay.
There's at least three repeater sites or more from that top access. And you can still get down to the two below it. But you can go from San Dimas Canyon Park. There's a couple different roads. You can go up onto it. You go through some private property and you get up onto a road, and it's a four-wheel drive trail. It's a truck trail, they call it, San Dimas Truck Trail. It gets into the experimental forest, and that's actually where the repeater's at. It's in the experimental forest.
What does that mean in experimental forest? Why is it called that?
Well, there's a Forest Service lab, a fire lab down in San Dimas.
Okay.
Well, the experimental forest for that fire lab is...
56 OS, monitoring frequency.
Well, that guy was on our net the other night.
He's a member. Big Mike.
Yeah.
He's into tea hunting.
Was that the tea hunting guy?
Yeah, he's kind of mobility challenged, as it were, but he says, well, I can't really do the in the park stuff on foot. It's like Well, no, Mike, you are actually, you know, you're a good mentor. You really know that stuff. It's what we actually need. This is not it. This just makes it up on this hill.
Oh.
See, that's actually looks like a private gate. That would not be a Forest Service gate. Way too small. So, but anyway, we told him, you know, no, you can be involved in on foot because you know the stuff, you understand the stuff. You're still a good person to have out there. We had him out there at one of those hunts, and yeah, okay, you got to be in your walker. You can't really move around that much. Big guy,
Right.
and but we told him we got plenty of able-bodied people. All you got to do is be the one to tell them what to do.
Okay, that's reasonable. I like it that way. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, that's, you know, it works. You know, I mean, a lot of people, oh, I don't know enough to be an Elmer. Well, you know, a lot of people got a lot less knowledge than some folks that have been around and doing some of this stuff. You guys have learned a lot from just when we've been out in those park sessions. You know.
Yep.
You know, I've learned not just the radio. I've had to learn other things because of this club.
Right.
You know, like how to do hybrid meetings and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
a good thing.
So, and now I'm at the point where we're having trouble trying to get indoor areas, trying to find any indoor areas to do any type of training.
Right.
So I'm kind of pushing. For now, I'm going to talk to Kesterson about actually doing sessions out in a park where we can just set up some lights, set up a hybrid session. As he says, well, it doesn't really work that well in hybrid because he was trying to figure out whiteboards. Well, if we've got an actual real session and we got a hybrid session set up along with it, we can do some of that. Some of the people can actually do that. They can still ask questions online as long as we got a moderator, you know, an operator/moderator working with Jim, and me and Kathy can be that.
Yes.
So I want to push for that. I really want to start getting some of the training sessions on board. And I told Jim, you know, we get the training sessions together, and I said, yeah, I understand that you're an ARL VE, but we can bring in a VE team, a W5Y VE team, bring in the laptops, set you up. Your last session can actually be a test session where people pay their $15. Go ahead and just do the whole deal right there.
I think there's, I'm an ARLVE, not a CVE, but an ARLVE.
Okay, right here.
Okay.
Now,
Wow.
yeah, go real slow along here, and or just pull off on that side, and we'll sort of park, and I'll show you some of what. And do not block gate. Okay. Now, if you look out there on that site, I can't see it because, but
I need to be over that more.
no, because it's that.
It's that middle ridge.
Yeah. So I mean, we got terrible. It's really hard to see that. Let me try to get out there real quick. Now I'm curious.
Okay.
Because I know it's right there.
I won't leave you.
Well, no, there's
I'm kidding.
there's some repeater sites. You go to this gate. This is the gate, and you go down here, and it crosses a dam. There's actually a dam up here, and you cross that dam, and as you're crossing that dam, there's actually a site over there. Some buildings, Forest Service buildings, and what used to be a lookout is over there, and there's several repeater sites.
Okay.
That's lightning.
You know, this thing's got a hill descent assist on it. If you know you're ever on a really steep one and you don't want to overheat your brakes. I've never had to use it, but it's a little button that you can push that. It's probably like an engine brake in a big truck.
Okay. Well, no, that hill descent does a couple different things.
Oh, I've never.
Big
really...
trucks use what they call an exhaust brake. They change some stuff on the valves, and these things, they use a valve in the transmission and change the fuel system a little bit.
All I know is in the truck it made one hell of a racket when you used it.
Well, that was called a Jacobs brake, and they don't. There's several ways of decelerating a truck. Caterpillar had what they called a flywheel brake that was oil assisted, and then there was a magnetic decelerator that you put on the drive shaft system.
Yeah.
And then there was the Jacobs brake wasn't invented by Jacobs at all. Jacobs is a drill chuck company, right? It's a machining company. Cummins sold it to them, and they started manufacturing it, came up with it for a bunch of different engines. Well, now Cummins has one called a C-brake, because Cummins decided, why should they be paying someone else for something they invented? So they redesigned it a little bit and came out with their own again. So they call it a Cummins C-brake. But using it on a DPF, a diesel particulate filter, okay, nothing behind us, so you can slow down a little bit, and you'll see something over here when we get around this corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what brake that Kenworth had.
You can stop
too many
here.
years.
If you look over to your left, you see that hilltop over there? That gate back there gets you over to that far hill. See that far hill over there?
Yeah.
No, to your left.
Oh,
in the middle.
I see them now. I see the antennas up there.
Right. There you go.
The towers, whatever.
Yep, the towers for the repeaters. That's the high elevation repeaters. Then there's some low elevation ones in front of them. So, yeah, there's a... But that gate back there gets you to that hill.
Okay.
So
wow.
it's still
Oh, yeah, but looking way back southwest, or, back to our 8 o'clock, you can see all the houses and the homes down that way.
Yeah.
So no matter where it is on that hill, it's got a clear shot to that down that way. Okay.
So anyway, that's we considered using this spot over here for a the Great Shakeout.
Yeah.
But the one thing we found was we had no cell service. One thing we wanted cell service, so we were able to use the laptop. We wanted to be able to use a hotspot. But now I found out I can get up here. I can get AT&T service.
Right.
So I've got some options, and I've got a system that'll use AT&T SIM card. But I can also use an AT&T burner phone. It's a prepaid phone.
Right.
Walmart's got AT&T. There isn't anything else up here. Verizon doesn't work. T-Mobile doesn't work. But AT&T does.
Well, we had that Clark had that same problem at Quartz Fest, except apparently, I think you're the one that told me that they bring this big trailer in or something.
AT&T does, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only one you could actually get.
But yeah, you can see how that overlooks the valley right there. So that's a good spot, at least for the area I'm wanting to serve.
Right.
Oh, well, we're starting to get a little bit of wet. So, But I just got to, I'm trying to keep that communication open with Ben and Narmore. I mean, I'd like to be able to say, oh, just let me manage that repeater for you, but that's not the way Cactus Intertie wants it handled. You know, they don't want to deal with me unless I actually have a sales receipt.
Right. What's that up there?
Oh, I think that was a fire tank.
Oh.
We call it dip tank.
Oh, okay.
So, see how this looks like? That's actually a valve going up to the tank at the top.
Right.
That rusty old tank up there, typically when you see one of those, they're an open top tank.
Right, so they collect rainwater?
And they're dry? No, they're not there to collect rainwater. They'll be filled by some local water supply.
Oh, okay.
For helicopters.
So the helicopters can just drop their hose down and suck it up and head to a fire area. Well, that makes sense.
That was developed in Kern County. First ones were installed just a few miles from our cabins. So we had 7 of them within 15 minutes driving time of our cabin.
Nice.
Well, it didn't save the cabins.
Oh, that's too bad. Didn't help, huh?
Nope. But they, Kern County didn't want us there in the first place, and were doing whatever they could to make sure that
you didn't come back.
Yeah, you couldn't get a permit to build anything on those sites. It had been rezoned to a alternative energy resource center, alternative energy resource area, and Kern County did that to 70+% of the county.
Wow.
Because they get money on every kilowatt hour that's generated. Property taxes don't do that. Property taxes give you nothing, and you got to support roads. And when you're getting money paid by alternative energy companies, they do all the work. They maintain their own roads. They maintain their own brush clearance. They maintain everything themselves. County doesn't put out anything and collects, money on every kilowatt hour.
Right.
So it's fiscally attractive to any local government.
Sure.
Boy, clouds are coming in. I told you it was going to rain.
And you were right.
But hey, we're not on a dirt road.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're off it, I guess. I didn't have this function on the dashboard on when I was coming up that hill. It would have been interesting to see what kind of a pitch at points we were going up. It's a pitch and roll gauge.
Oh, this has built-in pitch and roll. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It only works below 25 miles an hour.
So, yeah, but this is still a 30,000+.
Yes.
Yeah.
More than that, actually.
Yeah. Closer to 40.
Yeah, or more. But I mean, on the sticker price, okay, it was like 50. Actually, it was like 40 something. And then I had the trailer hitch put in, and the the step things on the sides. Oh, and different tires. I couldn't believe they took out brand new tires and then charged me as much money as they did to put these tires on. It had to be almost the price of them new. So no.
Whoa, this is, which way are we going? Wait.
I think it's that way, isn't it?
Glendora?
I don't know, but I'm asking. Isn't that way bring it back around down lower, but still on this side of the ridge? That goes up over and then comes down to Glendora?
I think you're right. That one always confuses me.
Yeah, I've only been on this a couple times, but it seems to me you had to keep going, and they eventually ended up on the other side of that ridge and down into Glendora. In a way, I'm kind of glad it rained today, because wouldn't you know it, I got in the car to leave today, and the the window washer needs more fluid. So I was thinking, geez, I hope it's not too dusty.
Yep, there's another gate over there, another trailhead.
Yeah. Is that a Forest Service place?
Was. It was actually, I think it was a county road maintenance. Public Works Road Maintenance Division.
Right.
I think it was at one point. It was Forest Service. Yeah, this is where we did the
shakeout.
The shakeout, because it gave us great phone service. Had a nice turnout, gave us great phone service, but we were looking at Norco, Corona, obviously toward Diamond Bar.
Yeah.
But we had Costa Mesa, so we covered all the way to the beach.
All right.
That's when Dave Wood showed up with the remote van. Well, what the hell is that? His ABC remote van shows up.
Oh, yeah, right. I remember that. I saw that someplace. Where was it?
At the swap meet one day.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I haven't gone to that many swap meets, but you're right. That's where I saw it.
Yeah, he was on his way to work. Yeah, any of these places would have been good. This would have worked here, but we found a spot that gave us better view, I think. Do we have much view that way? I think we did. This is basically switchbacks all the way down. So really good. The guys on the bicycles love this downhill.
Oh, I'm sure they do after coming up. I ran into some of them coming up this way one time, headed towards San Dimas. I mean, toward, the other direction.
it's an interesting drive with clouds. We rarely get that, so makes for a really interesting visual.
Yeah. I have a friend that used to live on Avenue D in Laverne, right just south of, across from the school, just south of Foothill. And he had a two-door, Cherokee. And he was an adjunct professor at Cal Poly. But now he's taking a job in San Diego, but he's the one that turned me out of this road the first time.
And you can see downtown LA.
Wow. You can or you can't?
Yeah.
You
can see the high rises right through there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when you're doing the deal with the Boy Scouts, that church on D, that's pretty infamous church. Lots and lots of movies that church has been in.
My son's high school gets paid occasionally for them to be able to do a movie there. The new Diamond Ranch High School at Phillips Ranch Road. It's a Pomona Diamond Bar school, but it's this ultra-modern architecture and design. And so they've made quite a few movies there. The school district gets paid for it. They love that.
Yeah, I've worked at places that were. There was a Michael Jackson video, and there's the first one where the faces changed, but it was, you see these little red and white stacks with flames, and behind them are 4 giant stacks. That was Valley Generating Station when I worked out there. But then on Deadly Ground, where the tanker blew up, like a Tahoe or Suburban runs into the tanker and boom. And then Steven Seagal's running through the inside of the control room of the supposed oil rig. And gee whiz. Yeah, if you look, there's the river down there. But there's pretty much, you're looking toward LA that way.
Okay.
But you'll see it, you get down there a little farther. So, anyway, there's one where he puts a 2-liter bottle on there and tapes it on for a silencer and shoots through an office door. That's the inside of Valley Generating Station's steam plant. I mean, it had been out of commission for several years, but yeah.
That actually works, but you got to put steel wool inside the bottle.
But
silencer.
Yeah, it's a friggin' movie. Okay, if you look over there to your right, you see the high rises.
Oh yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Downtown LA.
Cool. Well, the air is definitely clear up here.
Didn't know you could see that from Glendora, huh?
No, I did not.
Well, honestly, you can do that near Bruce Bolton's house. There's what they call South Hills.
Right.
And you climb up South Hills. It's quite a walk. I used to walk the dog there. And you get up on the top of that hill and look down there on a clear day, and it's like you're looking. It's like you could reach out and touch downtown LA.
Wow. Surprisingly
enough. But yeah, there you go. Looks like the Emerald City. In weather like this, it's beautiful. The rest of the time, it's just LA.
Yeah. Well, we had some properties in Anaheim Hills when I was working with my brother-in-law, and from the top of one of those homeowners associations, on a clear day, you could see Catalina.
Yeah.
Pretty clearly too.
Yeah, that was my stepdaughter's grandmother had a house in San Clemente. You go up on the hill.
It's even closer. Yeah.
Her second husband, he had a really beautiful house up on the hill. He was a pool builder, down at the beach cities for years. So we had a little money.
Yeah.
And it was an impressive view from up on those hillside homes in San Clemente. It was just gorgeous. What's that big spot looked like? There used to be a cul-de-sac there, but now it's just part of a cul-de-sac and like a big hole. He said, oh, there was a water main leak and 5 houses went down the hill.
Wow.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. Yeah, I went up to Baldy one time with my cousin when she was in town visiting, and we stopped in the parking lot where the lift was. I guess Kathy used to work there. But anyway, she wanted to go see the lift, but I wanted to bring her down this road, but it was closed. There was a gate was across and everything. I think she would have enjoyed it. She lives in Florida.
Wow. Now you can really see it. I mean,
Yeah.
if it was clear, you'd see the ocean. You'd see that mirror
Right.
past, Santa Monica, I think. I should do that on one of those Wednesday nights. Come up the road and set up where we were before, put a GP9 out there.
Well, if you get a crew together to go up there and move rocks, I can't probably help you move the rocks, but I'll provide seat space. How's that?
That'll work.
I was trying to decide whether there's anything I could do to help, short of finding some C4.
Not sure the C4 will help.
Yeah.
It says C4, but man, you try to launch that stuff with C4, you'd probably bring the rest of the hill down
Well,
with
that
it.
would be the only worry, yeah.
Need some version of shape charges, but I don't know any demo experts that are that good.
Certainly not me.
So,
I mean, they trained us how to use that stuff in the Marine Corps and how to put a, igniter in it. And of course, we had those Claymore wines too, and you only used not even the size of a golf ball to blow up a whole half a mile. Not really, but you know what I'm saying.
oh yeah.
To blow up a hole 50 feet deep. Not really, but it seemed like it.
Well, it was, no, I worked with a guy that he was, basically he was in supply, but he worked with a group in Germany that was EOD. And so he learned a lot. But, yeah, he was quite a character too. But he said the one thing that they had in their arsenal on that particular base in Germany was they had these towable guns that launched nuclear rounds.
Oh boy, I never heard
And
of
I was
that.
like,
Wow.
what? He goes, yeah. He said it'll lob a nuclear warhead, what they called a war, but it was basically it was a round on that thing. What the heck did they call it? They had a different name for it, but he said it had a 7-mile range. And he said the biggest problem with it was the explosion had a 22-mile radius sphere, or 22-mile sphere of influence. So,
Right.
so 11-mile radius. So you could launch it 7 miles, but when it blew up, it took you out.
Right.
And it's like,
That doesn't make any sense.
who's going to use that? He goes, nobody. He said, you could never get anyone that was going to pull that trigger. Right. It's like, geez, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. And they actually built those?
Yep.
Absolutely. What the fuck? You've got to be fucking kidding.
Wow, the latest
Whatever.
version of
Wow.
Residence for the Homeless, huh?
That won't be there very long. Cops are up here all the time.
Yep.
I mean, there was 3 of them the day we were doing that deal right down here. That was a little longer than I was thinking it was.
Well, we're almost back down to civilization. Look at that.
Oh yeah, this I think is why they had this shut off. They were doing. I know they were doing a lot of road work.
Well, they lost part of this road, yeah. Just washed away. They had to rebuild the bank and everything. It was the story that set up on the internet site I told you about, where I could read about which roads were closed.
Oh, okay. No, I knew that there was some heavy road work on this side. And I guess on the other side, after the snow, is where they had the. See, now there's the repeater site up there. That's the top of the hill repeater site. But there's another 2 repeater sites down below. And they all call them, every one of them is called Johnstone Peak.
Yeah, I noticed that. I mean, when I bought my FT3, John loaned me his SD card, so I have the same programming in mind that he has in his. And there's a whole bunch of Sunset and Johnstone Peak were the most popular names, you know, on the list of repeaters.
Well, one of the problems that you look through Johnstone is they're not open. They're, you know, they're either, well, the only open ones are digital, but as far as open analogs, there's one, and it shows down.
Wow.
You know, and honestly, that's the one I'm trying to get. I'm still trying to get it.
Which is that one? What call sign is that one?
WA6 FZH.
Oh, that's okay. Wasn't that what when I first joined the club? I think that's
the repeater we used.
Yeah.
And it went down. We didn't know why. Had absolutely no clue. And we were at the swap meet one day. A guy stops by and he says, "Hey, here's an email address. It's Robin Critchell. He wants you to get a hold of him about the WA6 FZH repeater." So I think this may have been where me and Kathy were at, that little outcropping.
Okay.
It's right in here somewhere, but I think that was it. But so Robin's one of the coordinators, but he's also part of Cactus Intertie. So I did get a hold of him, and Jones or Johnson, I forgot what, Dan Johnson, I think it is. He, or Don Johnson, I forgot. Anyway, they gave me all the information to get a hold of Bennett Narmore, the owner of that repeater. They said, if you can buy that thing from him, we'll do whatever we can do to help you get this thing up and running. As they're the ones that turned it off, because he had a sweetheart deal, right? He had a deal with the Forest Service for $125 a year lease for that, and it's like nobody's got a deal like that. But he was up there for over 30 years,
So, yeah.
and he wanted to continue the little thing he had. Well, Cactus Intertie leased the entire site, which actually has U.S. Forest Service repeaters in it. So it's their job to maintain the entire site. U.S. Forest Service still maintains their gear and the generator, but everything else that's done there, the maintenance of the building, the maintenance of the fences, the tower, and all the fire clearance and the maintenance of the road is done by Cactus. So Cactus takes care of everything, and the Forest Service maintains their repeaters on the site, repeaters in their generator. So, so they have this not inexpensive lease on this deal. So they told me, okay, this is the deal we're going to make you, is it's between $60 and $100 a month, depending on what services you want from us. So, so that was so that was the deal. It's like, okay, if you can get this thing from Ben, show us a sales receipt for that repeater. And they told us you can't go on the site alone. You got to go in with us. But we have people that can maintain that system, help you keep it on the air, add the components we want to add to it, because they said, it's not. They were concerned it wasn't compliant. It really wasn't, as things changed. Bennett and Armour, all it has is some tones. You put in the DTMF tones on the receive side, and it turns the repeater on and off, and does several different things. So it's got kind of a weird system. Anyway, this looks a little farther down. Are we down farther when we did this? But you can see how this has got great, from here, this is great coverage.
Yeah.
But they were willing to help us do the upgrades. They
Wow,
said, you pay for the components, we'll help you with the upgrades, we'll help you with the maintenance, we'll help you keep this thing on the air. Whatever you need to do, we're going to tell you what components you need to add and train you on everything you need to know to keep this thing up and running.
Cool.
Like, okay, I'm good with that. Not a problem. But here I'm stuck with, Bennett and Armour agreed to sell it to me. Never gave me a price.
Right.
But it's like, okay, name your price, tell me whatever. And he's like, well, I'm going to get the sales contract written up by an attorney, so that whatever's happened to it in the past that I might have created, or whatever might happen in the future, doesn't come back on. Whatever happens in the future doesn't come back on me, and whatever's happened in the past doesn't come back on you. Okay. So he made that agreement with me, and then
didn't do it.
Quit communicating. Like, okay, just write me a letter so I can write you a letter back. And we went back and forth, and I've written him 2 letters back since, and I haven't gotten any responses.
Gross.
Those are vultures.
Are they?
Yeah, see the red
So
heads?
they are, I see them now, yeah. Wow. My uncle had crows out his farm as big as those vultures.
Well, when they're big and run around by themselves like that, those are ravens. Crows with an attitude.
Yeah, okay. They were a mess because they would destroy a field of cow corn, before it could even get growing enough to go in the silos for insulage, so they were bad news.
Yeah.
Woodchucks were almost as bad. Woodchuck is like a beaver without the big flat tail, but they're as big. And they'd go through a row of corn and eat out the bottom of just the bottom of the stalk and let the stalk fall, then go on to the next one. So they could destroy a cornfield too.
Yeah, see, they had this all closed off. There's a gate right here. Yep. Right there. That one's been closed for, almost 3 weeks.
Well, I'm glad to see it's not closed today.
Yeah, there was, along these outcroppings, there was some